guys. Thanks for taking the time out to listen to my podcast. Just want to let you guys know if you haven't heard about Anchor by Spotify, it's the easiest way to make a podcast with everything you need all in one place. Listen, I was able to do this very easy. Anchor has the tools that allow you to record, edit your podcast right from your phone or the computer. When hosting on Anchor, you can distribute your podcast on platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and a lot more. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. And best of all, it's free. Please download the Anchor app, go to anchor.fm to get started. Take it easy. FYI, I am damaged.
Hey, welcome to another episode of FYI, I Am Damaged. I'm joined by Jose, who's here to have an interesting conversation. Jose, welcome.
What's going on, bye? Nice. I love the setup. The setup is very manly, very comfortable. I mean, we got the H2Os with
got it, man. We
kind
got
of
it.
gold color, I guess.
Everybody's-
For those understanding what I'm saying.
Everybody's gonna see it in the behind the scenes
Yo,
post on IG.
yeah. No, I feel special.
So, we're here because you wanted to touch on loss. And I definitely asked you to be on, and you graciously accepted.
Yeah.
And, thank you for that. And are you ready to get into it?
Let's go, bro. I mean, but I must say, when I heard the idea, and then I was like, okay, that sounds cool. But as I start hearing my sister-in-law Anna, shout out to Anna, and I hear my wife, shout out to my wife,
Shout out to everybody.
But it was like, oh, this is dope, right? And then, when you asked me about the idea, like in my head, I had the person, who's gonna talk about now, but it's a dope men, right?
Yeah.
Apparently we have this stigma that we can't have these type of conversations and stuff. So no, man. Actually, we need more men to have these type of conversations.
Absolutely. And somebody pointed
yeah.
out, it's like, oh, you're the first guy that's gonna be on.
Oh, snap! First guy, first man. Let's go. Let's go.
One of many guys, if you wanna hit me up, but we'll get into that later. So, first off, you're the other half of the Albania Jose duo, and Albania from one of the Deepest Losses episode. This is Jose, so you'll get to hear his thoughts. But we spoke on how listening to her episode felt to you, offline.
Yeah.
Can you tell the listeners your flow of feelings as they were when you were done listening to it?
I can tell you the feelings while I was listening, man. So I was listening to it while I was working with my headphones. I mean, my AirPods, and it was moments there where, man, the memories kick in, bro. Like I'm living it all over again. So I had to take a break. Well, not from listening. I had to take a break. Like, okay, guys, I forgot something in the truck. Give me a second. And but man, dude, it's. We have pillow talk with the missus, right? We have our pillows talk, and
it's essential.
Yeah, and then she's told me her feelings, but I guess in that setting, years past that we have our kids, I guess it felt easier, I guess, for her to. So, not that I never heard any of this, but the details of her perspective was like. Man, I was just worried that she didn't remember none of it. I was hoping she didn't, to be honest, because there was certain memories during that process, man. Like the moment she mentioned where she caught the seizure, right, bro. I'm talking to her, and her head rolled, her eyes rolled, her head tilted to the right, facing me. And I'm like, Alba, and I'm waving my hand and touching her, and she's not responding. Bro, I'm pressing the red button. They all coming in. I turn around, I see Haley on the floor crying, and my mother's there hugging her, and she's crying. And then like they take the bed and some ER shit, like the way the way the shows does it. And I'm just standing in the hallway, just in shock, like, what the fuck is happening? Oh, I could say fuck.
Absolutely.
I could say
fuck.
Fuck yeah. Okay, so dude, the doors, they go inside, and okay, we'll let you know. And then my aunt Iris, she comes upstairs and she's like, "What's happening?" And she see me, I'm shocked looking. And she's like, "What's happening?" And she's crying because she sees my mother crying. See, I heard her crying, and I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what's happening, Titi. I really don't know. And then I'm telling the doctor, like, look, I understand what's happening. I need my wife back. Do whatever you got to do. I need my wife back. Just I need my wife back. Say, so. Man, and then she didn't remember that, but even that, she got out of that seizure thing right before they took her in. She's like, "Why you keep asking me that way?" Like, yo, you wasn't here. You know what I mean, you weren't here. Like, what you mean I wasn't here? Like no, not, but I mean, and bro, and then when I heard the part when she says, when the water broke for Kayla, how she says, that was our last hope, right? Yeah. So she says, I remember when it happened, I remember the doctors coming in, and I remember being on the floor in the corner of the room while they're dealing with Alba, and I'm bawling. But I'm not thinking Alba seeing me, I'm bawling. So to hear her on the podcast in that episode, her saying how she saw me in that corner bawling, and how she felt like she disappointed me. I'm like, disappointed. Like, I was just having, I just didn't want you to see, because I'm the type, and you will hear this probably during this podcast, that I try to hold things inside for the sake of everybody else, because I'm worried about everybody else's feelings and stuff like that. Yeah. So I wasn't thinking that she saw me. So when I heard that there, I was like, oh, well, that shit is out. She saw me. But when she says that she felt like she disappointed me, I'm like, I never thought that ever. But for her to think that, I know you've been thinking this like almost 10 years already. Like, you know what I mean? Like, really? I didn't know. Like, no, you didn't know.
And would you be as weird as me to be like, oh wait, so yeah, you really do love me?
Yeah. Oh no, I'm saying, oh my gosh, she loves me. She really does. Like,
confirmation. 10 years later,
shit, okay, I'll take it. Don't get me.
Waited for long.
Yeah, damn it. But yeah, that was it sort of replaying the memories and stuff like that, and man, I would tell you, there are long times when Alba was in the hospital and I would come home to the empty house, bro. And I'm thinking to myself, like I never heard of us, like, people losing babies like that. That's when I really understood the term that babies are miracles. Like, bro, and you thought that's just a saying, right? See, but it's a thing, bro. And because when we had Kylie, bro, oh my god, that whole process of the pregnancy was just like, did she move? Is she okay? How's her heartbeat? Is it a little low? Were you drinking? I mean,
don't fart too hard.
Yeah, like, relax,
anything.
Yeah, so it was nerve wracking, after that, and then Jasmine, she was a surprise. Yeah, she was, but and even now we had to go through the whole process again. Yeah, she felt the kick. You're good. You feel good. You're not feeling crampy. Like, bro, it was just. After that, I was like, we can't do this no more. I told him, we understand that this is it, right? No more kids.
So then, other than stopping having kids, what are the things you do for yourself to help you, I guess, quote unquote, like that worry fatigue?
During that stretch or now?
I mean, when that feeling comes up, like you've gone through it when you lost it, that is the worry.
Right.
And then Jasmine comes along.
Right.
Worry.
Right.
And then Kylie comes along. Worry.
Right. They're not, bro. It was anxiety. No, it's fine. No, it's fine. They know what order it comes.
The second one came first.
Yeah.
So
yeah. It was all anxiety.
You get tired of being worried.
Yeah, bro. It was annoying.
How did you pull yourself?
Okay, so what happened when we found out the doctor officially called Alba as high risk?
Mm-hmm.
So their thing was, okay, so we're gonna insert this cerclage. And I'm like, huh, what's that? You know, we're gonna stitch the cervix, so you know she could never, you'll never. I'm like, so the worry of that, like, went from 100 down to like 60%. You know, so I'm like, okay, cool, it's a cerclage, all right, cool. But the doctors made it clear too. Hey, because she has a cerclage, there won't be no intercourse or making love or anything. I'm like, listen, I don't want to touch it right now because she's just like Virgin Mary here, bro. You know, so, but but yeah, but you know, we was good with that. I mean, as long as you know we didn't go through what we went through, I'm fine with it. You know what I'm saying? So, that took a load off. But even that, man, because more worries came after that when we went to the group because other people lost kids, you know, their babies different ways.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, but there was one couple, man, 41 weeks. She was overdue by a week, right? Wow. So she's walking around the hospital, Albert Einstein. He told her to walk, you know, so they could. And she went in the hospital, was fine, baby kicking everything. After the walk, she wasn't feeling the baby.
Wow.
Wasn't feeling the baby, and then ended up being at the umbilical cord. I caught in the babies, and you know she had it died in her belly.
Wow,
the baby died in the belly, and she had to give birth, man. To you know what I mean. So
with seeing all these things, have you gotten to the point where you develop something where you tell yourself so you don't swing in that type of that rut? Not a rut, but the type of emotions that it's like I'm gonna be beating myself up for like the next whatever fucking hours.
Right.
So what do you do for that?
So you know what's funny when we were going through, because I did mention it in the chat. I was in the chat in the podcast. So she did mention when we went to when we started going through the group therapy, right? Mm-hmm. The lady that was running, man, she's. Right now, I can't remember her name because a few H2O drinks right now, but she was real good, man. But then I felt like I started becoming the one helping everybody else there. Bro, there was one man. She had just lost her kid, and her husband is a firefighter. He knows CPR. He knows all this stuff. So when things was happening with the baby, he comes in and starts doing CPR. Like he's he does CPR, and you know, baby passes away. So she's explaining, you know, in his eyes is like he's supposed to be the one saying that's what he does. You know, like this is what he does for everybody else. But in his mind, he's like, I didn't save my son. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, dude, man, I felt that. But you know. So
how did you help them?
They're just talking. I'm like, dude, because of that stigma, right? That we started this where guys can't have these type of conversations. I'm like, dude, we can't, bro. The conversation was in the bathroom, me and him.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And you're like, yo, listen, you know, she's gonna go through this. She may go through that. And he's like, yeah, she's going through that right now. I was like, yeah, just let it, whatever advice I was given. And I'm telling him, look, this is just based on my experience, you know, because all these, they all have their different ways of dealing with stuff. So, bro, I found myself even leaving the group and heading home, like, yo, I feel like I saved 3 people right now. You know what I mean? Just to get out that rut that you mentioned. You know what I'm saying? So with that's how basically was getting out of mind, you know. Yeah, and then
putting that pain to the side.
Yeah.
You know what? Let me just do something good.
Right. Yeah. So because some of those people there, they actually have full memories with the baby. You know, feeding the baby, burping the baby. You know what I'm saying? So you got you memories. You know what I'm saying? So with us is we just have even my phone, iPhone, my 13 still has their heartbeats. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yes, so the heartbeat she talks about for the bears.
I still have it. We still have it on our voice notes on the phone, bro. Yeah. So it's and then now with the girls here, it's besides this, they keep you busy. But then I start understanding, because let me tell you something. When it happened, when people try to give you that whole God has his reasons and whatever. I was like, listen, I get it. I want a scientific reason why this is happening,
Yeah.
you know? So when you found out what it was, and, you know, bro, out of every bacteria in the world, that's the one that the antibodies don't work against. You know what I mean? I'm like, well, lucky us, you know? Like,
Yeah.
so then, you know, I had my feelings towards God, you know, he knows, but we've had conversations after that, you know, and, you know, still working on it, you know, still, I don't not believe him, or I do not pray with him, you know.
You're in your own space.
Yeah, he knows.
Yeah.
We've had that, like I said, we've had that discussion, you know, but, yeah, but that's how I deal with the whole getting out of the rut with that. And then, sure, it's, you know, my babies too, but my wife carried them, right? So it's like, I just have to cater to her. You
That's
know,
an attachment
you're
we'll
feeling
never know
right.
what it
Yeah,
is.
right. Yeah, I mean, ever in life.
Men
you know
will
what I'm
not
saying?
know that
At all.
that
And I get it. Sometimes we'll be in an argument. Yeah, but nobody. I'm like, you know what? You're right. I got you. And now I understand that statement more than ever. You know what I'm saying? So I get it. You know, so just like I said, putting my feelings just a little bit, and then, but they'll come back. You know, sometimes, you know, little memories here and there. You're like, oh man, you know, they said, yeah, that's a feeling I don't wish on anyone at all, bro. So, you know, we just keep rocking. You know,
I can definitely, to a degree, relate because of, you know, RG and I went through it.
Yeah.
And everything. You know, I even bought a, you know, find anything on fucking Etsy.
Right.
A little cement coffin.
Right.
That somebody made from overseas and was selling it on Etsy. Yeah. And I'm like, I said, I can't. You know, I cannot not do it.
Right.
You know, so I got it, and you know, it happens. So I mean, we're in the house that we've bought and we live in now. You know, I'm gonna find a special spot for her in the yard and put her there.
Right.
Because then, granted, it wasn't as far along, and there's no type of comparison here. But it's like, I get what you mean, because it's like we had the name.
Right. Yes.
You know.
Yes. Bro, we had.
You know.
First,
like,
middle name, last name.
Everybody's saying that we're gonna get.
And
everything, and you know, it's. RJ and I would talk, and I would just get fucking choked up about it, because it's like, you know, I could lose a pair of socks.
Right.
Fuck that. You know, rather than favorite pair, but this is like, you know, a child that I'm already, you know,
invested in.
In my head,
emotionally.
Like, this is what we're gonna do. This is how I'm gonna raise her. This and that. This is gonna be, you know, I got 2 boys, and we're gonna have a girl coming, and nothing. Yeah. And then it's like, you feel like,
bro, us too, man. We had a whole announcement where with the sonogram, we put like Christmas hats on them, because we told everybody on Christmas that we was having, you know, it was big. As a twins, man, shit. We still got the text message of the exchange of Alba recording when she heard she had the twins. Like, it was wild, man. And then I'm gonna tell you the surreal part, right? The surreal part, besides everything else that was going on between all that, the surreal part was the process of the hospital telling you have to contact the funeral home. You know, so I'm like, oh shit, that's, you know, because the baby was born. You know, you know, so I was like, oh shit. So because of my job, I know people in the funeral home industry. So, you know, I went to them, and, you know, they've given their condolences too. And explained to them, like, oh, we're going to, you know, obviously we're going to have them cremated, blah, blah, blah. Bro, the urns, right? It was like these little teardrop urns, bro. They say, like, they fit in your palm, you know? Yeah. That whole it was writing the paperwork when they asked you the relationship of the deceased, and I had to write their dad. Bro, that scene of John Q. When Denzel's like, I'm not gonna bury my son. He's gonna bury me. Yeah. Bro, as when I saw that on the paperwork, that's the thing that hit me in my head. I'm like, yo, I'm really filling this thing out that says like relationship, like life is supposed to be, relationship with the seed, the son, right? Because you're supposed to, life is that you bury your parents. The parents are not supposed to bury you, right? Yeah. So, but I never crossed my mind in that entire process that I was gonna fill out paperwork at a funeral home.
So how did you push through it? What gave you the strength to do that?
Was I tell you, when I did it, I unconsciously did it, right? It was I was numb with it, right, at the moment, and then I'm thinking, okay, well, this is how we bring them home. Yeah. Right, because they're gonna have the whole process being earned, so we're always gonna have them with us. Mm-hmm. What we created and stuff, that in the house, in the box, chilling. New Year's. I don't know if anybody wanted me to say this, but on New Year's, for the most part, we they're with us physically, mm-hmm. like in either her purse or something like that, and then, ball drops, whatever. We kissed our urns and stuff like that. But yeah, that was it. It was having in my mind that they're gonna come. This is the way they're gonna come home. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So, as I don't know if it's morbid or whatever, but this is the way they're gonna
that's
come
your
home.
Comfort,
right. So
there's a lot of people who can't find their comfort to it, and then God forbid they would worry that other people would worry, and it doesn't. Nobody has. They have no factor
at all.
So now to get to what we are here to discuss. Yeah. Now, not to get into detail, but the dynamic that of that conversation. Now, moving on, we're here in remembrance of your blood and your family member who was known to you as Bullo.
Yeah, it's my guy.
Now, moving on, we're here in remembrance of your blood and your family member who was known to you all as Bullo.
It's my guy.
As well as diving into the mind state of a man that lost someone was only an uncle, but as you described to me in a pre-interview, as a big brother.
Yeah.
Family loss is hard, but certainly losses hit harder, and for you, this was it. When did you feel as if you were beginning to heal after his death due to being murdered?
The healing process. So obviously, for people who know, my uncle Bullo was murdered. Actually, the anniversary is coming up next week, on the 28th. It'll make 5 years that this happened. It's like 5 years, bro. I remember the phone call like it was yesterday. But the healing process, I'm gonna be honest, three things occurred in the healing process. Well, it's a little wacky, but the moment where Sammy is the murderer,
right?
When Sammy was convicted, he was convicted on November 26th of 2019. So it happened 2 years later, and because it felt, even though he got caught right away after it happened. Shout out to Chico Police, for being there at that moment. That was crazy, like. But it was the conviction part, right? Because he got caught. He was inside. Nobody was gonna bail him out. The bail was too high. No, right. It was like, so he was already doing time already. But it felt like we couldn't close the chapter in his life, mm-hmm. because things were still not, set. You know what I'm saying? Like, say, listen, he's going to be convicted. Are you going to release him? Is he going to, something's going to happen and he's going to be released? And full disclosure, some of us There was a few people that wanted him to get released because they wanted to take matters to their own hands, and I'd be lying to you if I wasn't one of them. But there was no way of moving on without the conviction part. We needed set in stone. This guy did this to my uncle. He needs to go to jail. He needs to be in jail for the rest of his life. And it turned out to be that way. So that started the healing process. So that's a 2-year gap. Okay. So we hear that part. There was, so this is the wacky part, right? You ready for this? Okay, here we go.
Hit me with it.
All right. So I'm working. I'm doing a stop on the Grand Concourse. And these counters where they have like a bank or Western Union place where you can fill out the paperwork.
The little marble.
The little marble, the old school counters you could just write on. It has, some of them have the pen with a string.
Chain,
with the chain on so you don't steal it. Yeah. So I forgot my receipt book, went to the car to go get it. I'm filling it out there in that counter. So on my right, I felt this old lady looking at me. Right. So I was like, this freaking old lady, she's wilding out. Right. But no, she's looking at me. And when I look her way, she just smiles at me. Like I smile back as, good gesture. And then she whispered to me, he said he's sorry. So I'm like, huh? And I no, listen, he wanted me to tell you that he said he's sorry. I'm like, who? He says he's your uncle. Now I'm looking at this lady. Okay, this lady's fucking tripping, right? So she was with another lady. It seemed like it was her home attendant or niece or granddaughter or something. But she gave me a look as if like, listen to her, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, well, uncle, you're the tall, skinny one. He's standing right next to you. He's standing right here, right next to me. He's like, yeah. And he wanted me to tell you that he's sorry. So I'm like, I tell her, well, tell him he don't gotta be sorry, right? He's like, no, but he sees you and your mom suffering. So I'm like, okay, all right. I tell you what, tell him to tell my mom that. Okay. So he's like, that he said he's seen your mom a few times. So I'm like, bro, now this lady, I'm like, I didn't know whether to believe it or not, but she was too detailed now, right? So she said, oh, the tall, skinny one, the uncle, whatever. Bro, to this day, I never seen that lady ever again. To this day. But that happened after the beef. That happened after the sentencing. And then I'm like, I'm sorry, that happened before. My bad. That happened before.
Right.
So after that, I tell my mom. I call my mom right away. Like, yo, this lady is such and such. My mom made a joke out of it. It's like, sorry, tell us that. I forgot what she said, man, but it was a funny joke. She tried to refer, it's something about him, right? I thought it was hilarious. I forgot what she said. But that was that. Now, this happened a few years ago. Sunday morning. So I have a dream. And this knocks 2 birds with 1 stone, this dream. So the dream, the setting, bro, I could tell you I'm in FDR State Park because I remember how the playground is, and the trees, and I've only been there maybe half a hand, so I don't, but I remember that the way it looked, FDR State Park. In the playground, there's 2 kids, boy and a girl. Paying no mind. So I'm just looking around. I forgot who's with me. I'm talking, blah, blah. So I look towards my right, and there's a little hill. And this tall, skinny dude, denim shorts, gray shirt. He's walking with the little girl on his left hand, and the boy in the right hand. Bro, this is how vivid it gets in the dream, right? So as I start, to me, they look familiar. So as I start walking towards it, they're walking away from me. Now, there's no rush stuff. They just don't see that I'm there. And then I noticed the skinny guy. It's my uncle. Right? So I call his name, Bullo. So he looks, he waves, right? Like the way he waves and smiles. So I was like, now I tell him where he's going. He said, no, I gotta go over there. So he grabs the girl. Then I get closer. Now the girl is, I would say, if I had to describe the girl, she had on a purple shirt, purple shorts. She had on that white thing the girls put in your hair to put the hair back, the little plastic shit,
like comb.
Like yeah. She was curly hair like Kylie, dark skin like Jasmine. Mm. So I'm putting two, 1 + 1. So I'm looking, I say, Kayla, and she looks at me and waves. Mm. So for those who don't know, that was the name of the daughter that that passed away in 2014. That we were having, and then the boy, straight Jaden, curly hair. Mm. Like he couldn't stay still. So I was like, that's Christian, right? So then, bro, they went to the hill. They went. It was like Fields of Dreams. They went to the trees and they were gone. Mm. Bro, I woke up Sunday morning, and I woke up Alba. Hey, wake up! Yo, I saw the kids. I saw the kids. They were Bullo. As I'm saying this, I'm bawling, right? And she's looking at me. Her first reaction is like, man, how you have a dream with the kids and I don't yet? Like, I'm like, okay, Alba, all right, my bad, shit. And then but it was so like, bro, I'm telling you, I close my eyes right now and I know exactly what they were wearing. And I called my parents. So I woke them up, right? I think my mom was already awake though. And I tell her, you know what I'm saying? And then she's like, that was probably them for real. Like, bro, because it felt too real. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't go to sleep thinking about them or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? Or, liquored up or anything like that. So it just came out like that. So those 3 events helped me with the healing process. And I know some, a dream or, a lady telling me something crazy or whatever, but I roll with it. You know what I'm saying? So that's where I felt comfortable enough to be like, you know what? They're with each other. There is a heaven because that's where he dipped it to. And I'm convinced that that's exactly what happened and they're in good hands. So,
and that gives
the healing, that gave me the feeling of, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna ride with that. You know what I mean? And because as of right now, nobody can take that away from me right now. I mean, so it was those 3 events, but the most important part, bro, was the conviction.
Yeah,
because it felt like we were in no man's land, right? Because you see it on the news, seeing Law and Order, or whatever. Oh, things take a long time, for trial and blah blah blah, and and you're like, why is there a trial? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, the guy caught him coming out with the bloody knife in his hands. You know what I'm saying? So, you can't paint this any any better. So, but it was definitely a conviction. It was like once the conviction happened, we were able to start closing the book in his that last chapter in his life. You know what I'm saying? Because it just felt like it was just in limbo at one point.
That's not a good feeling.
Oh,
just
no,
the
bro.
wait.
Yeah, and like you said, like, what are we waiting for? Like, innocent. Like, okay, I guess sometimes, because there's been times there's been guilty proven innocent, but that's a whole different story for a different podcast topic.
The anger you felt when it bubbled over for you, when your emotional cup was full, being older, more experienced, what lesson can someone pull from anger once the waves calm down? Like, you've been through that emotional roller coaster.
Yeah.
And when it calms down, what shines from it?
So, oh man. So, okay, so like even now, his daughter's having I'm sorry if it's not a quinceañera or she's 16 next month. Mm-hmm. So it's like if we're trying to, it's like we want to represent him everywhere we go. almost.
As you should, family.
Right. So, but but even that, we know eventually, kids are getting older. Her mom may find a dude, and we're not who's us to say that she can't be happy because she dealt with mad shit with him too,
Yeah.
But it's almost, I don't want to say a chore. No, it's not that. It's almost, we don't want his kids to think or ever feel like, since he's not around, that we're not going to be around as much either.
Right.
Not saying that they think that or whatever. My mom messes me up with my head, like in terms of the way it thinks. So she has me being more worried now. Maybe because I just turned 40, so maybe that being more worried about stuff you didn't worry about when you was in the 30s and 20s.
But maybe you were thinking that was sort of a correct me if I'm wrong, just one of those torturous assumptions,
right?
That people do to themselves,
right? Yes.
But if they would have talked to the person, they were like,
right? They were like, exactly that point, and it's and with the whole anger, it's a lot. Now, unfortunately, in my life, bro, I'm kind of used to death. That, as is, it's to the point where, jokes are around like, bro, I don't know if we can hang out with you anymore because, people are dropping. And I get it, bro. Like, this is, I'm posting like every other month, like,
in full disclosure, we had to postpone.
Yes, we had to postpone this episode because the day we were gonna record this episode, my other uncle, my father's older brother, passed away at Tio Freddy. Shouts out to all my cousins, all the Ortizes.
Shout out to Tio Freddy. I do remember him.
Yes.
I was telling RG, I was like, I wasn't gonna be in the funeral telling this
shit.
Yeah. But if I were the type, I would have gotten up like, oh, if anybody has a funny story.
Yeah.
And it was the New Year's when after I started the computer repair business.
Yeah.
And I was doing like some dumb shit like promotional Jello shots for New Year's.
Right.
And he took one, and then I made the rounds again and made my way around to him again and like giving him a second one. And no. He's like, he felt that one. Yeah, he. I know he said something funny. I don't know if it was like I won't be able to dance if I take another one or something like that. And man. I do.
Yeah,
it's not just to say, but I do remember him at the party, always up, always dancing.
Yeah.
One of the loudest voices in the room, and a really cool dude. I do remember him.
Definitely. I like this. Full disclosure, I have a top 5, right, with my aunts and uncles. Right, I have a top 5. I'm not going to disclose who the top 5 is. They should know who they are. Right, but I don't want to make the others jealous. So, but I can tell you from the top, it's crazy. From the top 5, 2 of them passed away. Right, so it's Freddie and Bullo. So it's surreal, man. Because with Freddie, he was sick. He got sick, and things happened real fast, man. And then with him growing up, I grew up with my uncle Tito and Iris always being around because we all lived in the same block. So, but the other uncle and Nancy too, and Mike. But it was something with him because he was a cop in PR. He was a mechanic here. He was like a Renaissance man, bro. Like he was never not working. You know what I'm saying? It's like if he ain't doing this, then do this or do that. And it was there was one point where my pops put him on. I'll be like, you want to work with us, for a while until you're like, okay, cool. So, your little brother hooking up the older brother, but it's just like, he wasn't gonna not work, and OG for real. He was, if there's definition of OG, he was it. And with him was funny too, because as we started growing old, started getting older, and he started like, yeah, deal, you got mad kids, like. He's like, I was everywhere. I was like, yeah, no shit. But I was able to have that type of conversation. And then with him also, he was also the weddings or funerals or Sweet 16s, whatever. He was the one that took the mic and spoke freely from his heart, from any occasion. It was there was moments where Tito would be like, take the mic away from him, like he's never gonna end, But it was all out of love and laughter and shit like that. And but yeah, man, he ended up getting cancer. He had the surgery for it, did the whole process. And then a few months later, we thought everything was good. And, I guess it came back. It started spreading again. That part happened fast, man. And we went to see him the Sunday before on a surprise tip. We went to see him. We were all in the living room waiting for him to come out. He sees us. He basically got the whole shit effect, But, it was cool. It was, we was all talking. He could barely talk because part of the cancer was in his tongue, so they had to do surgery on that. So he was talking a little slurred, but you was able to understand what he was saying. But he was joking too. It was to the point, man, when we were leaving, Jaden was making fun of the way my dad walks because he got his knee messed up, right? So Jaden's behind my dad, like making fun how he walks, and Theo Freddy hits Jaden from behind, that's the minute. So, hey, I think but it was funny because that was the most action I've seen him do. And we left in stride. And other family members were like, yeah, they kind of knew it was going to happen soon. But I was like, I don't know. I thought he was going to last longer. And then the Saturday of the recording, that following Saturday, that's March 26th. That's when we get the phone call that he passed away in the morning. He went to sleep and wake up. So I was like, what the fuck? I was like, we just left the house a few days ago. Like, how is that possible? But then, like I said, God has his ways of things, but
it's safe to say that from what I've seen, and it looks like it's like the running theme, is that everybody's taking, their strength cues from his personality, all the memories.
Bro, the memories are lit right now. It's funny, Alba shows me, we was looking for something on YouTube, and Alba comes across her YouTube page. So she posted some videos, and we looked, and it was one of New Year's in my parents' house. And they were playing the song R. Kelly, the slow wine, baby wine for me. So everybody's going to get in there sexy on, right? So when his wife Joanne starts dancing, he comes in and he starts dancing with her, and we're like, oh no, they're about to smash.
It feels real.
Like, oh man, no, abort, so oh no, but we saw that today and we sent it to my cousins and they're like, dying on that, but that's also part of the healing, man. Just carry on the memories and the funny moments and good, bad, or whatever. It's just, ride with it because there was always a lesson behind all of it. So, whether it was good or bad or whether it was, it was a lesson or not, but it was. So yeah, I got used to freaking death, bro. So they're just coming and coming. I was like, God, please, can I get a break? It's like, and I feel like every time I say that, somebody else dies. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, forget it. I'm just gonna stay in my room, bro. Like, I ain't coming out. I don't want to hear nothing. But
and hey, everybody listening, take your fucking Wheaties.
Yeah, facts, bro. Because this is with that, yeah.
But I mean, you. Of course, you lost an uncle.
Yeah.
But your mother lost a brother.
Yes.
Once she was able to be on more stable ground mentally, was there any meeting of the minds to make sense of the loss and share insight and wisdom amongst the family?
I'm going by what I see and what I hear. So so my mom's side of the family, right? They I don't, honestly, from what I see is I don't think they've I think the mourning, some of them are still mourning. Right. And not only that, now here's the thing, because I'm not the only one that goes through it. I'm just part of the family that always goes through it. That's all it is. But that following year, so Bullo dies April 28th of 2017. August of 2018, the other brother passes away. Right. So Chad, my cousin hits me up. And we're on vacation, bro, at the Poconos. My cousin hits me like, yo, call me. So I'm like, okay. He's like, yo, bro, the police came to my mom's house. They say they found Uncle Chet dead. I'm like, what? And my Uncle Chet, right? He had his demons, man. He had real fucking demons, bro. So he recovered. He was with the rehab. He was with it to the point where he was trying to bring my uncle Bullo to where he lived out in Brockton, as if like, your bro, live with me, like, so you don't have to go through what I went through. Over, just live with me, yo. We'll just be us two. We'll be chilling, clean it up. We'll do good. And he did at one point, but then he just broke out. My uncle, he went back to the same shithole. So, this is me. I don't know. But I don't know if he fell off the wagon after my uncle passed.
Right.
I don't know if he felt like some sort of guilt trip, like, hey, I try to bring him here, because he kept telling us at the funeral, like, like he sounded aggravated. Like, I told him to come, like I told him to stay with me. And I don't know if he fell off the wagon or if he was falling off in the process because of my uncle's passing. I can't speak, obviously, because he's not here, but they found him dead in his house, man. And then, so this is just a year later, right? So my mom is still mourning her little brother's passing and murder. So now I have to go, leave my hotel room, go upstairs to where my parents are staying at, to let her know, like, yeah, your other brother just passed away. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I don't necessarily know if they went through. I think they were mourning for a long time, and then I think my mother too was waiting for the conviction also.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they all felt like they cannot move on, and then they were going through the same thing I was going through, where they had to hold their feelings because they needed to know how my grandmother's doing, how my grandfather's doing. You know what I mean? Because at the end, just like my mom lost her brother, they lost their son. You know what I'm saying? So, so we always trying to put feelings on the back burner, just waiting to see how they reacted, or how they were feeling, stuff like that. I've had full-blown conversation with my grandfather, because sometimes he's a little hard to deal with, or not hard, but sometimes he could be like, all right, well, okay. But, it wasn't like in a bad way. It's just like, but bro, I had full conversations, one-on-one, and that conversation would have worked great here in this podcast that I asked, because he was venting out, man. And I would tell my mom, like, well, it was a little fucked up too. Like, everybody, because you always worried about the mom, grandma, because she's gonna give birth to her. That's her baby, But
with the father,
right,
dynamic,
right, and then
regardless.
And then here's another thing too. He is not his son by blood. He came into the picture. He was a baby. So he's father because he's been there since day one.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And vice versa. Like, he treated him like us pops, and that's my son. Like, that's what it is. It was kind of like Brady Bunch-ish. He came with kids and my grandma, and and then all I know was them. So they're, my aunts and uncles, But so it was just worrying about everybody else's feelings. So I don't think, honestly, I don't think till recently is when they started, And then even that, as they start healing from that, and another one, bro. So my grandfather passes away last year. So it's just more like, shit, again, like, we just, like, we only got one uncle left on that side of the family. And it's like, so, it's I know to the point I feel bad for them. I'm gonna be quite honest, because it's it was, I mean, back to back to back, But the thing with Bullo was just because I think it was because he was taken, right? Like, right. It wasn't like my grandfather. Dynamic, he took a nap and he just didn't wake up, so they found out he had a heart attack sleeping. Something you couldn't control, right? And with his age, you know what I'm saying, like, and then with Che, unfortunately, autopsy says that he OD'd. So that's why I was like, that's what we was all thinking. Okay, but maybe he fell off the wagon when my other uncle passed. But we was taken, bro. Bro. You'll start doing crazy stuff. I mean,
if he's by himself,
right.
he has nobody there to just,
that's exactly what
say,
it was.
Hey, it's okay.
Plus that Che, bro, and it's crazy because now my Uncle Che, the one I told you that passed away, because he lost his son like before that. You know what I'm saying? And almost similar. Like it was. So every.
Now has this now with
wild,
all bro. It is, and with all the laws and with how it is in the minority community and more cut down to it in the Spanish community, in the Latin community, where has this changed the dynamic of all the men in your family about, don't sit there and hold it in. Like, let's talk. What do you guys do to hold up each other, to strengthen the foundation,
right,
instead of just looking at each other like this doesn't need a nod,
right,
we're not looking at something and be like, okay,
right.
No, this is like, I'm hurting here,
right.
We don't need to be quiet and strong.
Yeah, right. So I think it took. I think it took for just people just to talk, and my father, growing up, he had a way of talking, and it was I know, to me it was intimidating, but it was more of it was a straight shooter, right? Like, tell you how it is. He's not gonna BS you. It was to the point where if I was getting in trouble, I'd rather get spanked by my mom. Like, she said, I gotta tell your father. I was like, no, please, no. But he had a way of talking. So, there was, I remember him saying at the cemetery at his 1 year anniversary of my uncle, right? And he's trying to tell them, it's that sometimes he doesn't know how to say it. It'll just come out, Yeah. It's like, he was trying to say he saw all the daughters in the funk, right? Because in that family, there's only 3 uncles. 2 of them are gone. There's only 1 left. Everybody else are women.
Right.
So they were obviously in the funk. They lost their brothers and stuff. But my father was trying to tell them that you guys don't need to be this way because y'all did everything y'all could have for him. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like you guys just let him do whatever because y'all wanted to let him do whatever. No, y'all exercised everything y'all did. But that wasn't the life he chose. He chose the lifestyle of the streets. And unfortunately, it got, now he didn't, maybe I'm saying I'm biased. Bro, he didn't deserve to die like that. I mean, listen, listen, bro, there's motherfuckers out here. Part of my French guys, but y'all know there's people out here that be like, you know what? I don't think you need to be alive at this point right now. I think you need to move on in life. But but he didn't deserve that at all. In the way it happened and all that, he didn't deserve it. So, but it was just like he he's gone to jail.
Yeah,
and he got a little bulky. You know what I mean? You can see like he's trying to do whatever, but he went back to the hood. Yeah. And let me tell you something. If you guys are familiar with Chicopee, Holyoke, Springfield, Massachusetts, is a lot of Hispanic community. I mean, a lot, bro. A lot of Puerto Ricans, a lot of Dominicans. But if you go to their main streets, it looked like Lennox. It looks like 125 in Lexington, just with less people. Yeah, I know exactly. You guys know what I'm talking about. It kind of looked like Walking Dead, like literally. But so it was. My father was just trying to let them know, like, yo, like, I did everything I could, so y'all can't beat yourselves in the ass all the time, because there's been times that we've gone to Massachusetts where we're spending the night, me and my father, my uncle, whatever, driving looking for him, find out where he's at, you know what I'm saying? And hey, we couldn't find him. And then the following time that we came, we saw him, and he'd be like, oh, no, I was here. Nobody else found me, whatever. I'm like, okay, yeah, all right, no problem. But it was that, man. So and trying to say that, it's more like
he's trying to tell him, like, take solace that you did something.
Right, yeah. Like you guys
even though the outcome is not what you wanted.
Right. It's never gonna change that, right? So, at this point right now, just understand that you guys did everything I could, and we got at this point we just have to try to move on. We could only like not move on, right? Like I mean, time heals all wounds, and sometimes these wounds last, depending on the person, some last longer than others, and but yeah, but it's just like how he says it sometimes. It's like, yo, you guys gotta, like, all right, pops, yeah, maybe you need a spokesman. But they understood what he was saying. Publicist. He wasn't saying, yeah, he's a publicist, bro. You need you need somebody to rep you when you talk, bro. But yeah, it's.
I mean, did you feel you had to bear the weight of helping your immediate family navigate this tragedy, or was it all hands on deck? And tell the listeners how community helps everyone move to a better place a little faster.
Yeah, so lucky for us, my family's big on both sides, like mother side and father side, right? I mean, my father's side is bigger, but it's a lot of us.
Yeah,
that makes the healing process a little easier. I mean, as easy as it could get, right? But it makes it easier because we'll start. I don't know if you've been to, yeah, because I've gone through a lot of them. So it's like I'm promoting like it's a party. Yeah, you haven't been to one of my parties? Like, no, you haven't been to some of my family's funerals, man. Sometimes they be lit, but yeah, but we'll conversate about a joke or whatever or a memory, and then the laughs just kick in, bro, and and it'll keep going, So for that brief little moment,
yeah.
There's some sort of peace and some sort of relief, and then down the line, and it comes back, like literally a roller coaster ride, and but yeah, I'm fortunate that I have a lot of cousins here, aunts here, uncles there, that we were able to smile, and start thinking about memories here and there, and know that he's never going to be forgotten, right? Like we won't let it happen, but but then me, sorry, excuse me, H2O guys. So me, I did feel a little burden, a little bit, but that was me doing it to myself because, like you said, like the whole bearing the weight.
Yeah,
I was cool with it. Like let me take this weight off of you. Let me take this weight off of you. I need you good. I need you. You know what I'm saying? But I'm doing everything else. But then by the time I'm carrying everybody's weight, and I look at my back, it's like, wait, this thing is heavy. You know what I'm saying? So there was no with me, there wasn't no time to mourn. Right now, bro, when we went over there for the funeral, right? The day we got there, me, my uncles, my father, we went to for whatever reason, we went to the crime scene. Like, bro, we went. And I don't know if it felt like, like Fast and Furious when Toretto is in the road and then he pictures how Letty crashed. Guys, you guys are familiar with that scene, right? So like he's just on the road picturing.
The tank?
No, that was the one where they thought Letty died, right? So he's on the road and he sees skid marks and he's picturing exactly what happened, right? Yeah. So that was us. We was there looking. So this must have happened like that. Look at the door frame. They broke this down. Blah blah blah. So for those who weren't aware of it, so it was my uncle was murdered of home invasion. They were trying to get this iPad or laptop back that he bought previously in that day, and he wasn't trying to give it back, so they came and whatever, and he was stabbed in the chest. So we was there on some CSI shit, like, and I'm thinking to myself, what the fuck are we doing? But coming, we came back, and then
did that offer any type of?
Yeah, bro, it was weird, bro. I think we needed to be there. Like, I don't know why we thought that. We didn't feel guilty about it afterwards. There was no regrets about it, but we felt like we needed to be where it happened at. Like, we needed to, see what was happening. And then when again, a word about my grandmother, my grandfather, you guys need this. Okay, don't do nothing. I'll go get it. You guys hungry? I'll go buy it. So it took the day of the funeral. Driving, it was me, Albania, and my own Iris in the back. And on the way over there, bro, I didn't know I was having an anxiety attack. Full blown. Didn't know I was having it, bro. I'm fucking hands are shaking, on the steering wheel. Like, I'm like, what the fuck is happening? Yeah, my aunt and my is trying to hold me down. And it was that. It was anticipating to see him in a fucking coffin. Like, bro, and like I said, I've been to every funeral out here. I could tell you, bro, if there was Yelp, I'll let you know which funeral home to be in, and not to, But it was
So what helped? What or who or whatever? What helped you alleviate the weight that you took on?
So it was like the alone time, right? The alone time, because so when again I saw him, I was tearing, I was hugging him, when holding it in went wrong. Holding it in, just that was it, bro. It was like God is like, yo, bro, you can't hold this on anymore. So I lost my mind at the funeral. So I went towards Alba, and bro, I was crying and yelling in her chest, so nobody could so I could tone down the volume.
Yeah.
But everybody was hearing me, and then I kept saying, "I want the motherfuckers dead. I want them dead. I want them dead now." Then my father came over, and she's talking to my ear. He's trying to tell him, "Nah, they're gonna pay for it, pal. They're gonna pay for it."
Now I want to make something clear though, because he wasn't just your uncle. When we had the pre-interview, because I want to give some context to this,
right,
because it wasn't just another good uncle that passed. Mm-hmm. When we had the pre-interview, you stressed that he was a big brother to you.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that weight of it, shows the intensity.
Right. That's what. Yeah. So for those who understand that intensity, it was to the point where my eyes, I popped a few freaking veins. It was wild, bro. So my uncle Bullo, I grew up on Sherman Ave between 168 and 164. Shout out to Sherman Block. Okay. And he was living with us, man. This was before the time I was born, right? Yeah. He was living with us. And he was about 16, 17 years old at the time. And bro, he was just like a brother. I mean, I was the only child for a while, and then he was just the big bro. You know what I mean? He taught me how to do that kick, from Karate Kid, when he used to kick the ball on his knees. You know what I mean? I was doing the same thing. I was rocking it. And then he taught me how to, the fire hydrant, when you catch the empty can to use the spray. He taught me how to do that. Young, bro. I was like, yo, I'm lit. Yo, this is cool. So yeah, he was just like the bigger bro, man, and he didn't treat. And yeah, and if he had to yell at me for something, he yelled at me, and I probably deserved it. But yeah, man. And then he went back to PR, and then saw him a few years later. Back here was taller. I'm taller, So now, mind you, full disclosure, my mom's side of the family, I'm like the oldest. I'm the oldest grandson. Yeah. I'm the oldest nephew. And at that point, I was the only grandchild and the only nephew. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like the way our wives are with Randy and Danny, right? Like, hey, spoiled me, right? So that's what he was doing, right? And then
and it shows that connection.
Yeah. And then they apparently we have similar characteristics in our smiles or like the way we carry ourselves. So like my grandmother will see me like, oh, Bullo, little Bullo, like, you know what I mean? Like, I guess if I say that, but
you see it in the stands.
Yeah.
On the IG post.
Yeah, you see it in the picture. Yeah, and then as we get older, you know what I'm saying, and then even he had his lady, wife, whatever the case may be, and he was doing guy things and couldn't keep one chick, whatever, right?
Happens.
Yeah, but so I was all seeing the way he was moving and stuff like that, and but even the way he was moving, he never not wanted to be around us or not be the uncle around us. You know what I'm saying? So he'll come around, he'll have his jokes and he'll have the talks and stuff like that. So even that, we were still talking like bros. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So then, it was even to the point where Alba and I lost the twins, right? You know, obviously, some people, it was hard to reach out because they didn't know what to say.
Right.
Understood. I mean, that's not, listen, they don't make this freaking books for idiots about stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
So we there, right? And we all, we're talking, whatever, everybody. And he pulls me to the side. So it was weird, right? Because he pulled me to the side, like, yeah. Okay, what's this about? He said, no, nephew, I just wanted to tell you, man, that I don't want you to think I didn't reach out because I just really, really 100% didn't know what to say.
Yeah.
Bro, that was the most genuine shit I've ever heard from him.
Yeah.
And because that was probably one of the most serious moments he's ever had with me, because everything is all chill, in chill mode. But when he said that to me, I was like, how long you been thinking this, Bill? Like, no, I've been wanting to tell you for a while. I'm like, you But then I felt in his tone, like he had that, like he was holding that burden in, right? So I'm like, yeah, no, you'll be all right. You'll be all right. He said, no, and then he was asking, if we were all right afterwards. And, I said, no, we're all right, man. We're working on it. It's a process. He's like, yeah, I can only imagine, But he was the first adult male, it's weird, right? Because my father never had a problem talking to me, whatever,
All the male figures,
never
go out to say,
right. But it was, and even Tito, Tito said the same thing. So saying, I those things like that, I don't know what to do or say. I could hear it in his voice, like he didn't know what to say right then and there, But so
so to translate that to people who, are in the same type of situation, and you're saying that it matters, even if a person doesn't know what to say, but are sincere about it, that helps the other person.
And you know what's crazy? Man, I'll tell you, like, these lessons, they pop up, bro. Even so, funny reference, right? So, like, Karate Kid Part 2. I don't know if you remember when Miyagi's father dies, right? Mr. Miyagi father dies, right? They're doing their little Japanese ceremony for the dead. And there's a scene where Miyagi is on the rocks looking towards the ocean, right? He's just staring at the ocean. Now, Daniel comes, he's just saying whatever he's saying, right? Miyagi's not responding to it. But at the end, he finished saying what he's saying. Daniel puts his arm around him, and it was just like, that's all the nigga wanted, right? That's pardon me, guys, but that's what he wanted. It was just like, you don't have to say much. Just be here sitting next to me. You know what I'm saying? That's it. So, but when I heard my uncle's, his tone, I'm like, yeah, dude, like, wow, this was big. From the least. Like, I would never expect that from him.
Because by the old standards, you're not supposed to be doing this. Right. Like you're supposed to give me that look, like suck it the fuck up.
Suck it up, right? But nah, he was on some and then so and then you see the pictures, it's just me and him clicking. He always never ever failed when we'll speak Spanish. The only thing he was saying in English to me was that I love you. Never, ever, bro. Even in that wedding video, he says it at the end. Like, everything in Spanish. Mi familia, mi prima, sobrina. I love you. Yo te bendiga los dos. I love you. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the only thing she said in English clearly to me. And that's why the bond was always there. That's why That's why when I heard about it, bro, and that's why the anger comes, holding that shit in, and bro, I had to go outside and get, I had to get some more H2O, So, it was a heavy burden for sure.
Was music a factor in your healing?
It was. At first, it was a detriment to my. Yo, bro, it was a detriment at one point.
Picked the wrong song.
Oh man, bro, it's bro. So at the time of his death, the song I kept hearing it was because Kendrick Lamar's album came out recently, right at that time.
The Mad City one.
Oh man, the one with DNA and Love, right?
Uh-huh.
So everybody's with the whole DNA and all this other stuff. Love was his last single, but I was already hearing it then and there because I was listening to the album, bro. The song got nothing to do with that whatsoever. Yeah. I mean, nothing to do with that. Yeah, that one, yeah. So, but it was a song I was listening to around the time he died. So it's like now I hear that song and it brings me back to April 28th, 2017. You know what I'm saying? So, and bro, I was torturing myself, bro, because I'm like, the song is dope, right? Yeah. But I'm trying to listen to it as the song. But then it just kept triggering. And then and I don't know what it took for me because I still listen to it now, but now I don't feel that way no more. Now I don't connect, that song with the memory or whatever no more. But bro, yeah, it was a detriment, bro. And then for those who, I'm pretty sure you guys know I'm a Bone Thugs fan. So, the Crossroads, it came out in '96, and in the towards the end, it's ironic, the irony, right, that character takes the baby, right, and takes the baby to heaven because the baby passes away. Oops, that was '96, and I was gonna go through that in 2014. Like the song is still it's still relevant. And that part of it, I miss my Uncle Charles. Well, yeah, I just lost my uncle too. You know what I'm saying? So there was that connection with that. But nah, man, that shit was a detriment, man.
But at least with that song,
but right. I was ready to reconcile it. Yeah, I did. I had, for sure, because I was like, I don't know why I'm doing this. Like, this song got nothing to do with anything. But like, there were certain songs though, like Spanish songs, that would come on, that would remind me of the moment that him and my pops were in the car in the Camaro, or like at a party, and they was singing along. This guy has the maracas, and this guy got the little egg shaking. There's certain things like that which help. Yeah, for sure, because all that revolves around the memory. So it was always lit with them. They those two had mad memories together. My pops and like I saw it in him. You know what I'm saying? As much he's the tough guy too, but yeah, I did see it in him how it affected him for sure.
Now, what did you pull from dealing with your loss of the twins to help you deal with the loss of your uncle / bigger brother? Right. Well, what did you carry over to help you?
Wow, that's a good question, man. Don't make this shit for chimps, bro. This is So I think it was more like how should I say this? I think it was more of seeing that I pulled through this with babies, right? And then like we're always gonna be fine when somebody passes away, right? I mean, eventually. It's almost like what's guaranteed as life is fucking taxes and fucking death, right? Like that's so eventually you will be all right. No matter how long it's gonna take, but at the end of all this, you will be okay. I'm sure at the moment you're not trying to hear that, but that's that's an understatement. But you'll be all right. So I guess to show the resilience, right, of coming out of that,
right,
then you guys could come out of this too. You know what I'm saying? Because right now we have cousins of mine, which is their nieces and nephews that we need to work, which are his kids. You know what I'm saying? So they're gonna be there representing him. So we're gonna be there, be resilient for them. So the resiliency, I think, is what was translated from the passing of the twins to the passing of my uncle. Yeah. Yeah. I get it's one of these things where my mindset started changing after the twins passed because of course everybody be bitching and moaning about whatever, right, in life, right? Fuck, I got a parking ticket. Well, yeah, my twins died. You know what I'm saying? Like oh yeah, okay. Oh, you
I'll leave that right there. Keep bitching.
Okay, sorry guys. A raccoon went through your garbage can. Well, guess what? My twins died. It's like oh shit. So it was just more like
don't burst the blood vessel over some dumb shit.
Right, yeah. So it's just like because somebody else is going through something crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, and yeah, that's how things translate.
To suffice it to say, you dealt with loss on different levels.
Yeah.
Some even you might see this as a strange question, but has experiencing this given you a positive outlook in whatever you do for yourself and your family? Have you realized you live different, move different, analyze different, philosophize different?
No, absolutely, bro. Absolutely. So, also it comes with age too, right? So there are certain approaches I used to be a little bit more reckless back then. Meaning, I would I'm charismatic, right? I think that's the proper word to say. So, and sometimes I wear my emotions on my sleeve. So, I would feel a certain way about somebody or whatever, and sometimes it'll end in a scuffle or something like that, and but I think twice, sometimes 3-4 times before I even like react to certain things like that, because of that, right?
Yeah.
Because I mean, bro, you see in these news, like, listen, I am not no pushover. I'm, for lack of a better word, the P word, right? I'm not that, but I'm no fool.
Pussy.
Right? Okay, yeah, I'm no pussy, but I'm no fool either, right? You got these little youngins just shooting and missing, and they're hitting pedestrians, and it's like, and it's like, yo, now I find myself having to worry about you not knowing how to shoot who you want to kill, bro. Like, come on, like, you know what I'm saying? But I don't know if I've always been polite. I've gone along with everyone, even with people I don't like. But I find myself not trying to get into controversy as much as before. Not that I was trying to get. I just felt like if I felt some a type of way. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. It's kind of like that Al Pacino scene in Godfather. I'm trying to come out, but they keep pulling me back in, and but yeah. Now because of that, yeah, man. Because it's also as you get older, you start realizing like you want to be alive longer.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, as we all do, right? But meaning like, dude, I don't want to miss out stuff. I don't want to, like my parents, as much as they may be young, people, yeah, they 60 and 55 or whatever the case may be, but like, yo, people are dropping 60s, people are dropping in their 70s, and I'm like, I can't afford to do something stupid because of some stupidity. Because 9 times out of 10, it's over nothing. And just like my uncle's murder, bro, it was over an iPad. Yeah. Right? Over an iPad for a few bucks that he bought it for. And then what happened was he bought it from a dude, right? And for chump change. Because, the dude wants chump change now because he needs to re-up. He needs to get his fix. So I guess the other dude or the chick is like, beating him the dude in the head, like, yo, this Julie's only for that. You could have got more. Like, So, they try to go to my uncle. My uncle's like, yeah, bro, a deal's a deal. Like, I already gave you the money. I don't want the money back.
Exploded.
So then, they got mad about it. They left and they came back like 2 or 3 in the morning. And I don't know if his intent was to kill him. They did stab him in the chest. And the reason they got caught was because there was a police nearby walking, patrolling and walking. They heard the commotion. The dude comes out with a bloody knife in his hand. And he basically tells him, like, yo, where's the victim at? Like, you know what I'm saying? So, like, if this person dies because you don't want to tell us where he's at, like, and the dude told him, yeah, he's upstairs. But the cop detained him. And then my uncle, based on the officers, they were like that. He was resisting medical attention. Yeah, like he wasn't for it. He just thought it was a little wound or whatever, but not knowing he was bleeding internally. So when he got to the hospital, he ended up passing away. But yeah, so yeah, bro. Again, like I said, like you said, it's not about being pussy or anything like that. Because I bang with the best of them. Like that's it's not talking shit. It's just I need to be alive. I need to see my girls dance. I need to see Jaden play ball. I need to spend whatever I have left with my parents. You know, like they're fine, guys. They're they're fine. It's just that's why I find myself, you know, after all this bullshit.
Now, you were the immovable object for your wife to hold on to while she was fresh off dealing with the loss of the twins.
Yeah.
While in tandem, you're dealing with your feelings, balancing life, your wife, kid, and the pain that is immeasurable. Go into how your wife was your pillar of support through this loss.
So, full disclosure, my wife Alba, she's not that I don't want to use this word. I don't want to say she's not a fan of funeral because I'm who is, right? That she's always been this way. She does not like seeing the person she knows in the casket because she doesn't want the last memory burn her head of the person in the casket. Right. She already told me she's not going to see me when I die. I'm like, okay, baby, no problem. I guess this is a real thing, you know. But
thanks for the heads up.
Yeah, yeah. Don't take it offense. But so she went. She came afterwards with my cousins because we left to Massachusetts right away. And then Jaden stood with me and everything, and then and I heard that too. I remember, they took him to the flag football game and stuff. Yeah, I remember. So she was inside, but on the outside, like where the people were sitting at, away from the casket, like so she couldn't see it. Yeah. So, like I said, that moment that I lost my shit, I went directly to her. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So, and then she did it. You know, she was there, bro. Like she was there when I had an anxiety attack. Like it was weird because I don't want to say you expect. You know, I guess you do, right? I mean, you expect that person, but it's like you have to understand their feelings too, in the sense of like, expect, but like, I know Alba can't see if, you know, she doesn't do funerals. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, so, and I understood that, and I was fine with that, but she knew her mind was like, I don't do them, but I'm right here though, okay? Yeah. So that's why I was able to find her right away. You know, went straight to her, and then holding down the fort with Jay. So this was the first person that Jaden knew that died, right? Right. So he's trying to, now Jaden always saw me as, you know, his daddy. Yeah, forgot it. He's a freaking Avenger, right? Yes. Nothing's gonna happen to him. So I don't know if he saw me crying when I heard, you know, about Bullo, right? So to him was like, oh shit, daddy cries, like, you know what I'm saying? So Alba was with Jaden the entire time, right? So there was a moment where I get home and Jaden's on my side of the bed with the T-shirt I was wearing for Bullo's burial. So we all had like these black T-shirts with the picture that you have in the IG post. Yeah. Him smiling. Yeah, we took that picture for the shirts. Yeah, he's by himself with the shirt. Yeah, with him smiling and stuff. So we made that shirt. So there's a picture. I took a picture of it. Jaden fell asleep wearing that shirt on my side of the bed. So I told him, what's this? You know what I'm saying? He's like, listen, Jaden knows that you're hurting. I'm like, really? I thought I was doing a hell of a job hiding it. He's like, yo, he knows, man, because he's just asking questions. And he's asking me because I guess to him it's like, Daddy's sad. Like, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, so he fell asleep with wearing the shirt. So even with that, like Alba held the fort down, not just dealing with me, but also dealing with Jaden's feelings. Yeah. Not even thinking that Jaden even at that age, like he's even thinking that far. Like, oh, you know, okay, he says Uncle died, like the guy in the movie or something, you know, whatever. But now he understood, and then and he understood that his father was hurting, and this a father that he never seen cry before. You know what I'm saying? Like he's always, you know, at 100 in his intensity or whatever. So holding that down, you know, holding my feelings down, and then, you know, holding Jaden down, because it was just like trying to teach Jaden that, like, just, you know, Daddy's not weak because he's crying. You know what I mean? Like, you know, like it's okay to cry, you know? So, but bro, I thought I was doing a hell of a fucking job hiding that shit. I swear to God.
That's a good lesson for him to know that, you know, if somebody's in their feelings,
like, it's all good, right?
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, people like it's freaking taboo here. Like it's you know, it's the OGs, the old OGs that got that stigma, bro. And nah, it's you know, and again, I wasn't thinking, because I wasn't thinking much anyway at the time, but to see that Jaden was hurting because I was hurting, and he was just like, you know, like, man, what, Daddy's hurting, and, you know, stuff like that. I put it as an IG post years ago, and I was like, you know, like, yo, you know, telling my uncle, like, yo, look at the impact you got. Like, you got Jaden bugging out right now. You don't even know. Like, you know what I'm saying? So,
but does that kick into you as a father to, you know, how can you say, just switch up tactics? And which arose into my other question, like, did you guys have to come up with a strategy and the way to tell him about this loss, and the processes of it, and how you guys are feeling? You're teaching your son, your child, your firstborn, these are emotions that you're seeing for the first time, that you will experience later on, you know, but here's how we're gonna deal with this. Did it go that route?
I think honestly, I don't remember if I told Jaden or if I told Jaden, right? But then he came to me and asked me, you know, your uncle there. So I try to explain the whole uncle, meaning that he's, you know, he's grandma's brother. You know, your grandma, that's his brother. Like the way, you know, and like the way you are with Kylie, you know, try to, you know, break it down, you know, in simpler terms. So, you know, and our grandma's hurting, you know, oh, so grandma's crying too. Like, yeah, Papa, you know, so it's just like, he's just hearing how everybody's sad. And it's just like, oh, snap, they cry like us. Us meaning like, we look like kids, right? Yeah. Like, we don't, oh, snap, you know, but, and even that, I'll tell you one thing though. So that happened there. So that picture of Jaden in the beach, you know what I'm saying? Like, I wrote the name that was in Virginia Beach, and he was the one post. I was like, you know, I took the picture of that. So I was like, damn, bro, this picture's dope. But you know what I mean? Like, it was said, but I'm like, damn, does he understand? Because, bro, that was his reaction. Like, his reaction was touching his chest and pointing into the sky. I'm like, but how do you know to do that? You know what I'm saying? Like, how, you know what I mean? Like to put two and two together to react that way. Answer? Yeah. So I didn't ask him, actually. It was just, I was telling Alba that thing. I was like, yeah, you know, and that's why Alba could tell me, yo, he knew, like, your feelings, he knows, he knew, he felt you different. I'm like, wow, man. So that was another reason why I also had to do the whole, not holding back anymore, and like trying to figure out the healing part.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because at that point too, I'm thinking, I don't want it. Jaden doesn't have too much memories with him.
Right.
But my thing was, I didn't want him to dwell in it like we were. You know what I'm saying? Like okay, well, if you guys are still crying, I should still be crying too, right? You guys are still sad, then I should be sad too, right? Because you guys are sad too, and I didn't want him
like
to fall into that.
The kids go
right,
through, like,
yeah,
like Mr. Me Too,
right, Mr. Right. They see you crying, well, why is mama crying? I'm gonna cry too, right? Like, yeah, like it's something's wrong. That's what I, And then that following year, his 1 year anniversary, bro. So it was crazy. Jaden had a basketball tournament. And for those who don't know, Jaden's really into sports, AAU basketball and football. So we played a tournament.
And you guys have a very interesting schedule.
Oh, yeah, bro. Very, very. That's why these gas prices are definitely not helping, bro. But we had a tournament it was LeBron James high school coach. He runs a tournament out there in April every year.
Mm-hmm.
So Jaden was part of Gauchos. So we went there representing New York. And he had his sneakers. He wanted me, because, there's some NBA players that do that when somebody passed away, they're right there in their shoes or whatever.
Yeah.
Jaden comes to me, and he wants me to do that to his sneakers and put Bullo's name.
Oh.
And I'm like, you sure you want to do that? I mean, he said, yeah, but he made it clear, though, I don't want it around the sneaker. Can you put like a black tape and right on the I'm like, yeah, because, he didn't want the sneakers written on. I'm like, okay, Jay. So.
Good thinking.
Yeah, I mean, he does, yeah. So I did it, right? And he played the entire tournament, bro. We went to the championship game, right? And we played at this arena at the University of Akron. That was the championship game, bro. The arena was huge, bro. And I was like, I think the kids got intimidated, but they played Indiana team, they lost. But there's a picture of Jaden playing in the championship game for that, with the sneakers on, with Bullo's name on it,
Yeah.
So when we got the second place trophy or whatever, Jaden put the trophy there, put his sneakers there, told me to take a picture. So I'm like, bro, and I'm thinking to myself, like, am I still showing that I'm mourning? Does he feel like he has to do this? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, no, but I ain't never asked him.
Yeah.
So that was just all him asking me, So I was like, okay, dude, so rock out. You know what I'm saying? So
how was the comfort to you?
It was soothing. It was soothing because that weekend, because that weekend was his 1 year anniversary. So I didn't go to Massachusetts to visit his thing like everybody else did. Day. Now I did through FaceTime. Thank God for technology, right?
Yeah.
But being at that tournament and making it that far with Jaden wanting to do that
while he's representing,
we were chill. I was chill, bro. And the fact that we went to the championship, and then I was like, okay, all right, Jay, I see you. But it was it was I was able to manage it, bro, without a problem at all.
And what's the A1 top standing memory, the best memory of him, for you?
Memory. Actually, a few. I can put them all in the same category. There was one memory I remember that always stood out, bro. And it's crazy because I was way too young I'm way too young to remember this. But I remember being in PR, young, seeing this dirt bike race in PR, going up and down a hill, and he was standing next to me in the fence because he took me to it, right? And he was showing me that he got a little cut in his hand. I was like, oh man, Theo got cut, And then I'm seeing the motorcycle passing by me. To me, them shoes is huge, bro. I'm gonna tell you something. When I tell my mom that, she's like, dude, you was like 3, 4 years old when that happened. I was like, really? He's like, yeah. Like, how do you remember that? I was like, yo, I remember that vividly because he was the one who took me. And then, obviously the ones because he's the clown in my mom's side of the family. So in my father's side is Tito, and Susie's dad, and then on my mom's side is Bullo. So he always had jokes, bro. I mean, it's just hilarious, cutting ass. I mean, it's hilarious. Matter of fact, when my mom found out that he passed away, right? Me and my dad were trying to make it to her before anybody told her.
Right.
Bro, and I mean, this was Friday. I'm coming back from the Lower East Side. It was terrible, bro. So I call my pops. He says he's almost there, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay. And when he calls me back like 10 minutes after that. I'm still stuck in traffic trying to make it there. Bro, all I hear is the screaming in the background, like a banshee, man. And I was like, "Pa, what happened?" Somebody told her. I was like, he was tight because he heard the screaming as soon as he got out the elevator. So that was the very moment she just found out. So he's there with her. So I'm like, all right, Pa, I'll be there in a few minutes. So I get upstairs. Bro, I hear things is quiet. And bro, she's rocking back and forth on the recliner, looking up towards the window. And I look at her like, Ma, you all right? And then she's looking at me with a confused face and calls me Bullo. Right? So like, no, it's me, Jose, Jose. Like, yeah. And then she goes with a confused look in her face. Willa called me and told me that Bullo got killed. With a confused look on her face, as if like, I thought I heard that. I think that's what she called me. I think that's what she told me. And I'm thinking to her like, will I call you for that and told you that? Like, yeah. But why would she call me and say that? Right? So that's why I know that she was in a state of shock. Right? So I'm looking at my father. My father's looking at me pissed off because he's like, tell her. I was like, Pa, maybe she didn't know. She didn't know. She didn't know that, But bro, and then she kept saying that, right? And then at one point she starts to pacing, rocking the recliner, and she says, "No, he can't be dead. Who's gonna tell us all those jokes now?" She was saying in Spanish, ¿Qué me decir los chistes? No, tiene que decir chiste. And I'm looking at her, bro. This was like, I never in my life seen that. Right, so I was like, "Yo, she's in a state of shock." So I tell my sister, like, "That's like you might have to bring."
You were the Jaden to the
right
parent.
There you go, yep. And then and she's saying, but she kept saying that over and over, bro. She said, I mean, literally over and over, like, "Oh, he's alive. When we see him, he's gonna tell his jokes again." Everything was related to all his jokes. That's why That's why I brought that portion up.
The question is what. I would be interested to know.
Yeah.
Is what was your Jaden move for your mom?
So, at that point, at that very moment, she was still in a state of shock. I don't think she knew I was there. You know what I mean? So, and then afterwards, later on, as she started getting out of it, I went home. Then I called her, and she was talking fine. She was talking normally. Then she was asking me details of what I knew. So I'm like, listen, this is what I know. They say the guys got caught. Like, yes, they are caught. They're in jail right now as we speak. And then because what happened was also my mom was watching the girls, so I call Alba repeatedly, right? And Alba picks up. I was like, yo, they killed Bullo. So I was like, babe, I need you to pick up the girls from mommy, but mommy doesn't know what happened. You know what I mean? So now Alba's like, what? Yeah. Like, yeah, she doesn't know because me and Papi are on our way right now to tell her. So don't say anything. Just pick up the girls like normal and just leave. So that's what happened. That's what happened. So that's when my mom was like, I was like, she did. She had to pick up the kids, from me. My mom was like, oh, no, that was a good move because, Forget it. The girls would have heard it, and and Jasmine was a baby. Like she would never understood that. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then yeah, no, I didn't have my jaded moment until I think afterwards was when we were at the wake, because she had her moment with him where she was like banging his body, telling him to wake up. You know what I mean? So I was like, oh shit, she was doing shit too. So I started talking to her, whatever, and holding her hands, and then but then I let her rock out too, because I didn't want her to feel like she couldn't, like, or feel restricted. You know what I'm saying? So it was yeah, that was it was after. It was just me just being next to her, holding her hand. That was it. I think that's what I took right there. And then I had to do it with grandma. I mean, her grandma was there. She just lost her son, and I had to do that with my grandpa.
They underestimate that comfort factor.
Right. Don't say that. Just hold a hand. That's
people
it.
think like it's so awkward to try and comfort somebody, and you shouldn't feel awkward. Right. Because that's the one thing that they need.
There's a lot of times when Adelante says, "I don't want you to say anything. I just want you to listen." I'm like, you know what? Okay, I get it. Don't say anything. Just listen. But yeah, that's so the whole thing with the whole what I mentioned about the jokes is because of that. His memories, it's just always joking and having a lot of energy, bro, and bro, just him being him. You know what I'm saying? And he would show love to everybody. That's why when that happened, when the town found out, they would call him Flacco. That was like his nickname. And even today, I went to check something on the website, like, on the internet about the situation, and there was people that were commenting on the newscast from the neighborhood saying, "Oh, rest in peace, Flacco." Right? You know what I'm saying? I was like, damn. Okay, so I mean,
comment section of the website,
right? Yeah. Wow. It was weird. At Mass Live, I would see it. It says, "Yo, rest in peace, Flacco," and I'm like, and I just saw that today.
Yeah.
So I'm like, damn. So the hood knew him as and they were all upset about the fact that he even got murdered like that. You know what I'm saying? So because he did what he did, but he wasn't these guys that would steal from you. He wasn't this guy that like he had morals also. Like you know what I'm saying? So it's just that he just never left the hood, man. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it was.
And you experiencing that outpouring from people that you didn't even think.
Yeah.
And that's did that bring a form of comfort for you?
Yeah, it was. Because I like I said, unfortunately, I've been to quite a few in my lifetime. A lot. I mean, a lot. And I've seen where, it's a lot of people and it's crowded, and I've seen where there's only 5 of us, and you're like, wow. Damn, and there is some sort of comfort level, man, to see that, again, he wasn't perfect. He wasn't, he was loved. Yeah, right. And to see, that many people there, there was even a deaf lady there. I think she used to live in the same apartment he was in. Like she had a room. She was a witness. She was in a hotel, but she doesn't say words. Like she just has to point and stuff like that, like a mute. Yeah, and she you could see her, man. She was distraught about it. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, well, how much communication could they have had, right? I mean, literally, right? So I guess because of that, I guess whatever love and passion he used to show to everybody, that's how he was, bro. Like, and I knew too, because, bro, this this dude was banging him, bro, and I'm like, yo, what do you say, homie? Like, he was banging him, bro. He was banging him. I'll tell you that. He was definitely banging all of them, bro. I'm like, this fucking guy.
But it's another great memory.
Oh no, yeah.
And it's like it always brings in that positivity.
Right. And it's hilarious too.
No, if there's anything that we missed that you would like to relay that shows the world, anything that you can use to help with the loss of a loved one, let us know.
dude. So it's because there's levels to it, right? So like, say like when the recent one with my Uncle Freddie, right? Like I have so many memories with him, right? And then but I felt, of course, I feel like he should have stood with us a little longer. But yeah, I've personally had 40 years with him, right? So it felt and he was up there in age, and really it was because he was sick. That's the sickness is what got him, right?
Yeah.
So growing up, and you used to hear in the news about this person getting kidnapped, and they find the person's body. You always imagine what that family members are feeling, right? Like the anxiety of
like when you're a new parent,
when
and
you
you hear those stories,
and you hear those
like,
stories, you freaking freak your shit, bro. Like even today, I heard some grandmother in Baton Rouge gave a 4-year-old granddaughter some alcohol, and the 4-year-old died. Right?
What about the one with the fentanyl?
Yes. Yeah. What? Like that's wild, bro. And then my first thing, that's the first thing I do. You say you picture your child. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's just that's the mind fuck, right? So so then I remember hearing the Aaron Hernandez story, right? When it was happening. And then how people were saying rest in peace to him, right? And I vented out. I was like, rest in peace, y'all wildin'. Like, you fucking rest in peace. This guy killed like 2 people that we know. Yeah. Like, that we know of, right? Like there's evidence behind it. That's why he was locked up and all this. So you freaking rest in peace. And then I remember one of my cousins replied to it as if like, oh, you just reacting like that because he's on a team you don't like. I'm like, yo, it has nothing to do with the Patriots, bro. I do not dislike the Patriots. I don't care for the Patriots. But, we already beat them twice, so there's nothing to hate about. But nah, this has to do with like, yo, this dude took people's lives. Yeah. Like, you wild or not? And he feels privileged. Fuck that. He don't deserve anything. And that happened, and then 11 days later, Bullo gets murdered. Right? Yeah. So I felt like telling that cousin, "What about now? Like you still got the same energy because it just killed my uncle, and you hear his funeral." You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, So with that being said, right, like it's being in that position of somebody taking your life from you. Oh man, bro. I mean, the anger, it consumes you, man. If you let it consume you, it will. And I did. And it wasn't on purpose that I let it consume me. It just ended up happening like that. And then it comes to what I was gonna say at the end, right? With the whole quote that I saw about scars, right? And the quote I saw, sorry, hold on. They say, a scar simply means you were stronger than whatever tried to hurt you. Right? So I made a joke out of it. Like, well, all the scars I got, I'm a fucking Avenger right now, bro. Like, I mean, say what you want, but so now that it happened, so now, not that I, if you went through it, I might help you out necessarily, right? But I could help you navigate it, right? Like, okay, like this is what happened with me, and I went through the same thing, and yeah, I'm not gonna tell you not to be pissed off or not to break something, because
you know what to gauge where they're at, in their anger, in that little journey that they're going through.
And then I felt like where the whole thing about that everything's gonna be okay eventually, right? So it's more of trying to navigate to those emotions and try having an understanding of who it may affect around you, right? Because it's not only you. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's going to be multiple members of the family that's going through it.
Yeah.
You know, in my situation with you know, not realizing that it was affecting Jaden. You know, bro, I really wasn't thinking about that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, and not only that, even I say Jaden, but even Jose, who's my oldest, he has plenty of memories of bullying. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's the first death that he's had with somebody close that he knows. You know what I'm saying? So it's navigating and talking to him about his feelings about it. You know what I'm saying? And then he does what I do, worry about his grandma and her feelings. You know what I'm saying? So it's
Did you have to say, hey, look, this is the route that you're going in, so because I did it, so be careful?
Right.
Did you give him some insight?
You went to Jose?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, I've asked. With Jose, I've always had an open dialogue about anything. Like anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, dude, if you feel some type of way, let me know now, or vice versa. Just don't hold anything in, right? So it was just more of, oh, how you feeling? Then he'll flip it. No, how you feeling? You know what I'm saying? So he's very woke when it comes to, you know, when something's wrong, he's very aware of, you know, of other people's emotions.
Yeah, so let's be careful with the woke. He's very intuitive.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, very intuitive. My bad. Yes. But he yeah. So you know, I've asked him, and he's understood, you know, what's happening and why things happen. You know, he's not naive. You know, thank God. You know, and then with Jaden, it was more because he is naive at the time. You know, you know, so managing both, well, you know, both of those things and how to navigate it when they go through it as they get older. So like when Theo Freddy died, Jose and Jaden were like, we just saw him. How is that possible? Right? Yeah. So like that's how things work, guys. You know what I'm saying? Like and you can't control it. You know what I'm saying? And then I've even spoken to my cousins at my uncle's funeral. Yeah, because you have cousins from PR that came and you know, we all chopping it up in the hallway. And I'm like, you guys, you realize that we don't have to be worried about all these OGs because they're all up there. You know what I'm saying? And we're gonna have to do this. This may be a domino effect. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, and then what? You know what I'm saying? And then it's they're not young. None of them.
I'm not anticipating. I'm not happy about that conversation where you have with your kids. Yeah. Like you just said this. Like, hey, welcome to this adult shit.
Yeah. No. Yeah. You know,
I understand. I'm your dad. I will be here for you.
Right.
You know.
Because it is a thing.
Hold you till you get your legs.
Right. No, bro, and it's a thing because, it's because these things are obviously they come unannounced, right? I mean, it's not like you can start preparing them ahead of time. Like, yo, you know, well, with Freddie we did a little bit, but even that is you know, how I say this, it sucked Theo Freddy's passing because of the pandemic.
Right.
So not realizing that the last time he's been in my house was the last New Year's that we've had in my house before the pandemic, right? Because after that, everybody was in there. Yeah. And then when he got sick, we understood that his immune system was going to be compromised. So he definitely can't be around anybody. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, so it kind of took, you know, we would communicate with him because he'll communicate through IG, whatever, and we'll chop it up. But we felt like we were robbed those 2 years, right? Because, you know, and it had nothing to do, it wasn't COVID related, but it was just like, because of that, we couldn't go see him, we couldn't visit him as much, you know what I'm saying? So,
being a big family, the intimacy,
right. Yeah, we was all together. Pause, right. And then because of this, and it's like, you know, those 2 years, we could have been, you know, having more memories, you know what I'm saying? Or trying to figure things out, but it was, it's these things come unannounced, bro, and trying to tell, and it's crazy because I find myself that my sons are looking at me like, damn, dad's been through all these deaths, right? Because there's been more in between all that, right? And you know, with close friends, like my god brother passed away. He's gonna make a year next month, and it was quick. And cancer, and then he just died, right? And there's dude, I'm 40. He died like 44. You know what I'm saying? Like what? You know what? 40 what? You know what I'm saying? Like
it weirds me out because there's like I say, growing up, and then you looking up to these, you know, your idols or whatever, and then you're at a point where shit, I'm older than them.
Right.
You know, and if they would have stuck around, they would have known the type of bullshit that, you know, those are the ones that take their own lives, unfortunately.
Right.
Or others, you know, go through what they go through, but then you have a different perspective because you're older, and then you're older than those that you idolize.
Right.
And it just, for me, it just gives a weird outlook.
Yeah. Bro, it just recently, the shirt I'm wearing, guys, I'm wearing a Razor Ramon shirt. For anybody that wants to know, but he passed away in March, right? He was my favorite wrestler of all time. Now, before The Rock, before Stone, and then and this is where things are starting in perspective. Like, yo, my childhood is disappearing, bro. Right? Like, this guy's passing away. The guy that does this voice on this cartoon you used to watch passed away. Jim Henson. Well, I know all this was older, but and I'm like, yo, the childhood's disappearing little by little. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this sucks. That's why, like, something like Cobra Kai on Netflix is so like, oh, that's the shit. Yeah, because I used to watch Karate Kid when I was younger, and it's like, dude, you have to start realizing these people are getting older, and like I said, taxes and debt, stuff is guaranteed.
We take solace in everything positive that they left behind. So
right.
Because they're not going to, and people might think this is like a cold view, but they're not going to give a shit.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
What are they going to say? Hey, you know, you remember
you should have did that before.
You know, you should have done it before. You know, peace. I'll see you when you're on this
side.
Right.
No,
but it's like, you know, it's realizing that if they left something that's, you know, regardless of the worth of it, if it's something positive, then it's something that strengthens those that keep moving on. You know, but that's, you know, just how I see it.
Exactly.
Now, one last thing. How has the loss affected your relationship with God thus far? How would you describe it, and how do you rationalize it in whatever state it's in now?
Oh man,
I know this is close to you. If
it's my relationship with God, right? So yeah, I'm a Catholic. You know, we go to church. Probably don't go to church as much as I should, but that's a different topic. But even now, it's after the twins, right? I wanted I wanted no parts of God, none of it, because I'm thinking to myself, like, dude, how can you let this happen, right? That's it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was like, God, I don't deserve this. I don't deserve. I mean, at least fuck what I say or feel about it. But I'm like, yeah, my wife doesn't deserve that, right? So then, but somebody brought to my attention, right? So I got a full chest tattoo of the twins, right? And I have the heavenly gates and the clouds, you know, stuff like that. And somebody brought to my attention, oh, it was the lady that runs the group, and she says, "See, but there is belief in God because you believe in heaven, because you believe that your baby's on heaven, right?" Like, I was like, okay, you wanna go that route? I got you. I see where you're coming from, you know. But so it's been rocky. Again, I don't hate them. I don't hate them. I was, you know, it was more after the twins. Now, when it came with my uncles and stuff, you know, as I get older, like I said, you know, like time starts healing wounds and stuff. But It's gotten better. It's gotten better.
Mm-hmm.
It's gotten better. I still don't understand the whole thing with the twins. I'm like, I prefer just not to be pregnant at all. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, you shouldn't even, no, but so I guess I learned this analogy in sports, right? Where like they ask, would you want to have gone to a championship and lose, or just get eliminated in the playoffs and not experience it at all, right?
Yeah.
So most people say they. I was surprised. It was more. It wasn't most people. It was actually more split. So there was people that are like, no, I'd love to experience that, right? Even if we lose. But there's some people that say, yo, I want no parts of that. Like, if I ain't make, like, I don't. If I'm gonna go to lose, I'd rather not go.
I want to feel the loss.
Right.
Yeah.
So my head was like, if you're gonna take my kids away, you should have just never made us pregnant. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
F it. Like, no, but maybe I started thinking maybe at the end it was one of these things that maybe having the girls made us appreciate the whole process. Well, I don't want to say we. Let me speak. I'm not going to speak for Alba, but for myself. Maybe having the girls afterwards was more like, you know what, cherishing them more. Yeah. Not that I don't know if there was a certain level because they're gonna be your kids, but it was or cherishing the process more, or maybe God was just trying to tell me like, bro, this could happen, and or maybe God just rather you than somebody else. I don't know. I was thinking that too at one point, bro. I was like, maybe they don't want this person to go through it, but since I could recover from it better than that person can. Maybe he's trying to save that, bro. I was trying to figure out connections, bro.
That's what you always say. It's like, maybe I could take the weight.
Right. And at one point, it's crazy as this may sound. At one point, I felt like God made me go through that, so my twin cousins can have their babies. I don't know if that made any sense, right? Because they had a boy and a girl. One twin had a girl, one twin had a boy at the time. And I was like, well, man, maybe God, is like, yo, you can handle it, but they can't. So I'm going to have to do this with you. That I really thought that, you know what I'm saying? So, but, it was weird. I don't know where that, how like popped up to my head, but yeah, I really thought that, but I just thought that there was some sort of reason.
Mm-hmm. And you're still trying to figure out
still trying to figure out that reason. So, but, I haven't asked recently because I guess having Jasmine and Kylie, not that it covers that, but they keep you occupied. So it's hard to think about stuff like that. But even with Kylie, bro, like, yeah, she asked us this. She's so curious. When Theo Freddy died, she took it because now that's the first person she actually knows,
right,
that passed away. You know what I'm saying? So she's like, and how they died, and because he was sick, and and why, and where did they go, and stuff like that, and it's like, maybe I heard that there's a place called heaven, and I tell her about God, you know what I'm saying? So therefore that's why I said the relationship did get better because other than that I wouldn't have exposed it to. But I shouts out to my cousin Lucy. She's when it happened with the twins, she was reaching out and she was telling me not to give up on God. So she spoke at my uncle's eulogy, and it's funny because we were trying to figure out who's going to do it now because using my uncle was the one doing it. So she did a great job there. But shouts out to her. She was the one that put me in that path to start believing in him again. But again, I told her, it's a process. It's a process.
Any final thoughts?
Final thoughts. The final thoughts, man.
What kind of offshoot thinking you think would help somebody with loss? It's I would think don't deny your emotions, but I mean, what is your outlook?
I'll tell you off the back as the word of advice is don't hold that shit in, man. At all. Don't hold that in. And as much as you think that nobody's noticing, or man, it's noticeable, and just don't hold it in. If you have to speak to somebody, believe me, there's other people will listen, man. Because people don't want to see people get sick. Mental health is a real thing. Like before, I used to be like, I'm saying like went inside. I mean, like no, that's it's a real thing. So holding feelings like that in, again, just talk to somebody. Because believe it or not, I thought Alba is crazy. I thought about the whole podcast, like people reaching out to her, like, "Yo, that happened to me. Yo, that happened to me. Yo, that happened to me." And I was like, "Well, I guess they don't talk about it. It's not taboo." You know what I'm saying? But it's so. Believe it or not, man, people go through the same shit that that you may have gone through it, and they can help you out just by not holding those feelings in.
Those connections matter.
Yeah, and those feelings are real, man. And as much as you're gonna hide it, whatever, it's just gonna be a volcano, and you will erupt. You will erupt, and it's just a matter of try to manifest it, in certain points, and if you know somebody, anybody that you love that's going through hardship, and sometimes they don't know how to maneuver. Sometimes you just gotta like point them to the right direction. Sometimes you have to pick them up and take them to the right direction. Just do it. And if they don't reciprocate back, I mean, this goes
part,
right. Yeah, and sometimes people be in funks, man, and either they don't know about it, they're not telling you they're in funks. So no matter whatever the feelings are, just don't hold that shit in, man.
And and communicate.
Yeah.
It's no one's a mind reader, and
at all.
In our
culture, I tell my wife that all the time. I'm not. Why are you mad? I don't know. Tell me.
And in our culture, that little link of communication is so fucking weak.
Yeah.
And we gotta make it stronger.
Yeah. And it's like I said, it's like I don't know why it's still taboo, but honestly, you know what? I personally think it's taboo. I thought it's taboo at this point. I think they're so, especially like the OGs, they're like so prone to be taboo. They just don't know how to not being that.
Yeah.
Oh man, how I say this?
Just a caricature of themselves.
Right. They just
this is how I have.
This is how it have to be, right? And they just don't know nothing else, and
if they knew like emotions are so fluid, you got to keep the line of communication on, and once you get that load off of you, that's what people don't get it. Like share the load.
Right. Like we don't have to carry. You don't have to carry the load by yourself. And it's and then you're not going to be the only one going through it. And yes, at the very end of all this, you will be okay. Some faster than others. There's no another thing. There's no way to mourn, right? Because people have this, they're like, oh, this person should be like this, or this person should have gotten there, or this person should have did this. I'm like, listen, if you don't want to go to the funeral because you don't want to see that person, then that person should respect it. Like, listen, I just can't. I'm a ball up. I'm a bug out. Or if this person wants to vent out a certain way because that's the way they want to mourn, and so be it. People have this tendency also like, oh, that's not the way I do things or whatever. And it's like, okay, right, that's not the way you do things. You do it the other way. It's but
people have to respect that.
Yeah, right. It's just again, it goes back with the OGs. That's why I said I'm cool with tradition. I'm cool, to make it update. You can update. I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be certain ways all the time. So, but in terms of losses, people, I've had my my fair share. I mean, by the bunches, and I'm still okay. So believe me, all right. Cause Oscar here can vouch.
But you're
people dying out here like crazy around me.
You're okay because you had your spaces because you were not okay.
Right. People, exactly.
And if we have a good support system, we have people that even just try.
Right. Or just make the attempt. Make the attempt. You know what I'm saying? Just so, because you'd be surprised how people would just respond. People would just listen. Like it's like when people say, "Oh, I don't like to ask for help because I like went out." I'm shy about it, whatever. Like, well, then you're just gonna be asking for help quietly. Like,
I tell my sons, hey, squeaky wheel gets the grease.
Yeah,
and a person venting out their emotions, they will get their comfort.
Right. And
any further shout outs, mentions?
No, it's just shout out to my entire family, man. Father side and mother side. It's too many of y'all for me to mention. But shouts out to them, man, because I ain't gonna front with that part. I'm spoiled. Because there's a lot of us.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then and then like there's families is just, which is fine. If it's just a family that within the household, hey, it's your family. But I've been blessed to have a big family on both sides. So it's a bossy long, on both ends, So shouts out to my wife, She'll be a pain in my ass, but she she
nothing good is ever easy.
Right. And then facts, right? And then but even the times like is when the times that you're down, bro. Yeah. Is when you see who's who and what's what, and my wife held me down every single time. I'm not. Yeah. Love you, babe.
Well, I want to thank everyone for joining us on another podcast, another episode on my podcast, FYI, I Am Damaged. And please, if you or anyone that would love to share their mental strength tactics of whatever they've been through and help other people be strong with whatever they can share, please reach out. More than willing to have anyone who would like to share their story. And now, thank you very much, Jose, for joining us. FYI, I am damaged.
So am I. I'm really fucked up. But I did want to say, this is a great platform, right? This is good. Just here, men talking, shooting the shit, and about real stuff. You know what I'm saying? And then this ain't no soap opera shit. This shit is real. And
appreciate it.
And then again, I am damaged myself. So, and we can all be damaged together, people. All right. So, my man.
All right. Take care, everybody.